What's good, everybody? Welcome in to Early Edge Live. I am the coach, and I am fired up tonight. Why, you ask? Well, there's only one reason. Week 7 of the NFL kicks off tonight. Broncos and Browns. One of those games that a lot of people are saying, yuck, not us. We look at this as an incredible opportunity. Now, a lot of housekeeping to talk about, a lot of injuries tonight. Let's pound that like button. Now, tonight, you're going to have to earn it, because this and Monday night are our two biggest viewed shows of the week. So we got to get to 500 likes. I'll give away a count of 5. I already talked to the bosses. 5 year-long memberships to SportsLine. We get to 1,000, which we know we can do it. We did it last week with the action figure. I'll give away 10, count them, 10 year-long memberships to SportsCenter. And as you know, there is no better value in all of sports betting, and it's not even close. And right now, the busiest time in all of sports, every major sport is playing right now, and we are here for it. So a lot to get into. Let's bring in the stars of the show. Oh, you know him. You love him. Right below me. He's very, very busy because I have a feeling, M-Square, that the news that OBJ would be active tonight sent you and your DFS crew into a tizzy. Am I right?
You are correct. Yeah, we were doing that. I had a DFS podcast before this, and then all of the major sports. As we know, it is the sports equinox. We're offered daily fantasy for all of them on SportsLine, so I run numbers for all of them, doing that all at once, but fired up, ready to go. And the inactive news is great for the play that I'm on, which is the Cleveland Browns. Odell Beckham active, Jarvis Landry active, both of them active for the first time this season. And then one of the tackles, Wills, is back for the Cleveland Browns.
All right, we'll get into all that coming up very shortly. Chewy, Sawyer, Dominic, Jack, Corey. I see all of you in the chat. Let's be very, very active tonight, and let's help each other out if we have a question. And, of course, when we get to the prop section, you know I'm coming for my guy. He is known as Prop Stars, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you he is the best prop handicapper on planet Earth, and it's not close. Alex, welcome back to the show.
Welcome, Coach. You're too kind. I really appreciate the compliment. Mikey, AB, nice to see you. Coach, I haven't seen you for I think it's been almost 5 or 6 days. I really missed you, man.
All right, yeah, you going through a little coach withdrawal?
I am.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
I've had you over my shoulder, though, just to keep me company in those long nights when I'm in the lab working on props. So TMI.
We know that lab. There's going to be a reality show one of these days. I want a camera when you're in the lab and you're doing all your research. How you come up with the numbers is beyond me, but we are so happy that you're on our team. Now, we're moderately happy this next man is on our team. We call him AB. Alan Bell, what's good, man?
Coach, looking at these inactive reports, I hope that you stretch because you're one injury away from playing tonight. So just putting that out there. See, there we go. You're good to go.
I need a lot of energy tonight. Not only do I host this show, but I might need to play. So with a little swig, Red Bull. It's called product placement.
I'll tell you this.
There.
We'll reach the ultimate on this show when M Squared and Prop Stars are breaking down your prop bets. So that's where we go.
Well, I tell you what, I did miss you guys being in Atlantic City over the weekend for CBS Sports HQ. That was great. So many people came up to me and were asking me about just Prop Stars. Well, actually, Mikey, too. They were asking me about Mikey, too. AB, I'm sorry. They didn't ask. Nobody asked about you.
Hey, maybe next time.
All right, we got a lot of storylines to talk about before we get into our plays, which will happen in about 10 minutes. And then, around a quarter until 8, we get into all of our props. If you have any that you're wondering about or any that you want to play, put them into the chat. Also, if you want to be eligible for a year-long sub, you got to follow SportsLine on Twitter. You got to leave your Twitter handle in the chat, and you can do it over and over and over because it gets lost because so many people are watching. And then also, you have to subscribe to our YouTube page. You're watching it right now. Hit the subscribe button. We got you. By the way, a big time thank you. Over 17,000 now subscribers to our YouTube page. It's an all-time high. We can't thank you enough, and we're excited about it. All right, guys, I'm going to go, Mikey, to you first because we already talked about it. This is big time. Other than Baker Mayfield, OBJ active. Big news. Jarvis Landry active. Big news. How much does that change across the landscape, how people should approach this game tonight?
Oh, it's definitely going to impact the player prop side in terms of those tight ends that we're going to get a lot of usage from. But I think that it's obviously big news. I believe it's the first time they've both been active this season. And then the biggest piece of the news, which is kind of overshadowed by those two big names is they get Wills back on the offensive line, which is going to help quite a bit to protect Case Keenum. And then just having the threat of those two legitimate wide receivers should help alleviate things just enough. So I think it's a huge deal. I think it's worth at least a full point in the betting market. The combination of having all three is a big deal for this Cleveland Browns offense.
So, AB, let me come to you. Yes, the wide receivers, as M squared, are playing, but Baker Mayfield, we found out yesterday, he is not going to play. That labrum, the shoulder, it looked nasty on Sunday, by the way, when he re-injured it. How much do you think it affects the betting market to have Case Keenum as a starting quarterback now as opposed to Baker Mayfield?
Well, it's going to affect it not only with Keenum playing, but with these running backs out as well. You're looking at the Browns. They average 32 rushes per game, which is tied for the most of the NFL. So if you have a backup quarterback playing, but seemingly your entire running back depth chart is out, what in the world is this offense going to do? They're going to have to put the ball in the air at some point. So I think that really plays into the line of, okay, is Keenum looking at 22 pass attempts tonight or 32 pass attempts tonight? So that's what I'm most fascinated about. But yeah, we've seen that line's dropped 3.5, 3, 2. I think it sits 1.5 right now. It's definitely had an impact.
Okay. Chase, Marcus, Levi, Tony, I see all of you in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. Now, before I get to Alex, there's something that Alex and I have in common. Each and every day of our lives, we always have the ladies coming after us. And Michael, let's bring up Michael in the chat. Apparently, Michael says his wife is watching. And I'm wearing the backwards hat, Alex, and she's going bananas. She's going bananas. I don't want to cause any issues, Michael, in your household. I can take the hat off if you want, but I'm going to leave it on for now. But tell your wife I said hello. Now, Alex, you understand what I'm talking about. You feel me on this. Now, in all seriousness, I'm just playing around. Now, in all seriousness, when we talk from a prop perspective, I know you spend hours and hours and hours. Then all of a sudden you find out yesterday Baker's not playing. All of a sudden you find out today OBJ, Jarvis Landry, they are playing. How did that affect you?
Yeah, it absolutely throws a wrench in things. There's a lot of uncertainty on the Cleveland's offense. There's a lot of difficult things to project, a lot of difficult things that I can't account for. What I do know, though, and I heard Mike talking about this at length this morning on the Early Edge, was that Case Keenum is a viable backup quarterback. He's a lot better than the majority of backup quarterbacks in the NFL, frankly. And yeah, it wasn't long ago that he led the Vikings to, I believe, was it a 12-4 record? So yeah, he's won in big moments. He's not just come in for a game or two and looked okay and, been decent. He's been good over a pretty significant sample size. So I don't think the drop off from from Baker Mayfield, to Case Keenum is going to be that significant. I do, however, think the running game will be affected, obviously not having Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. So yeah, it's really interesting. Hard to project a lot of things on Cleveland's side of the ball.
So let me ask you this, a quick little bonus early prop for you. D Burks official in the chat says, what about Keenum over 1.5 passing touchdowns tonight? Your thoughts?
I think it's do we know what the juice is on that?
Do not know. It's not in the chat. I haven't got a chance to go in and look yet.
Yes.
I will figure it out.
It's speculative, not knowing. Obviously, if it's plus odds, that would provide tremendously different value than if it was like, say, minus 130 or something like that. I think it's live. I think it's in question. I do think that Keenum is going to have to throw tonight versus this Broncos team, but I also think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So not something I'm personally looking to play. If obviously we're dealing with like plus 200 here, I'd have maybe a different opinion on it. But yeah, without knowing the odds, not something I'm going out of my way to play right now.
Well, my book doesn't even have. They have Teddy Bridgewater over 1.5. They do not have Case Keenum 1.5. So they have taken that now. By the way, D. Platts, has anybody seen the top of Coach's head? I tell you what, before the end of the show, I will show you my head without a hat on it. I know many of you have never seen it, but I'll take my hat off before the end of the show.
It's
not
a beautiful
right now.
sight.
Thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate that. We are crossing the bottom of the hour. A lot of new people coming in as we're just getting started here. This is Early Edge Live. We do it every single primetime night, counting down to Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and also Monday Night Football. Let's pound that like button. Let's get to 500 so I can give away 5 year-long memberships to SportsLine. And we've been seeing so many beautiful messages about all of you that are winning every single day, and we are here for it. Now, AB, let me come back to you, because I know Mikey's still over there working on that DFS, always grinding. On the other side of the football, the Broncos. You look at the numbers, and the numbers, if Teddy Bridgewater was healthy, is something you have to look at. 18-2 against the spread, 90% in his career as a road underdog. We know he's on the injury report. We know he's got a quad. He's got a foot, but he is playing tonight. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, those numbers are real, and I know, we spoke earlier in regards to trends, what to believe, what not to believe. I mean, that's a pretty large sample size, right? Now, you also look at Teddy Bridgewater and the way that he plays and the way that this Browns defense plays, all right? The Browns defense they bring pressure on quarterbacks 37% of the time, the highest in the NFL. The problem for them is this. Teddy Bridgewater, his comp when under pressure is actually better than when not under pressure. Under pressure, he's 64%, and he's got a 101.8 passer rating. The guy is legit under pressure, but that's him healthy. What is this foot situation? And then what is the overall situation if he gets hit once and we're looking at Drew Lock? It's just there's so many questions with this game.
So many questions. Quick chat question. Mikey, I'm coming to you. Higgins or Landry flex? 1/2 of PPR, Seth says.
I'll play Landry. He's just the more talented player at this point. I have to trust that if they're going to activate him in time for this game, knowing that Odell Beckham is also active and playing, that they think that he's healthy enough to be out there playing on a wet field, frankly. So if they're comfortable running Jarvis Landry out there at this point, I am as well. So that's where I would go with it.
All right.
Can I chime in real quick? Do you guys mind?
No. Yes, I do.
All right, you guys have a good day. All right. Now, this feels like one of those games, and I put it to you guys, y'all know more than me. When there's no option offensively, Jarvis Landry somehow ends up throwing passes, right? So it's like that's another wrinkle. Like legitimately, the guy does. And Stefanski loves to run those, especially on fourth downs. They don't kick field goals at all. So, just another added wrinkle in of just where this game could go.
Oh, and who knows? I'm going to come to you, Alex, but quickly, Jerron, I see you in the chat. Coach, I'm a casual $5 and $10 bettor. 80% of my bets are tailing your crew. I'm up over $1,500. Boom. You guys rock. Thank you, Jerron. Thanks for being here. So, Alex, I come back to you. So we talked about the Browns props. Now, on the other side, you got the Broncos, and you have a quarterback who's playing. You have a quarterback who has the numbers on the road, but they didn't play very well last week against the Raiders. They got beat in, not just beat, they got blown out at home. How did that affect you knowing that Teddy Bridgewater hurt but playing?
Yeah, so on the Denver side of things, there's a little less uncertainty, obviously, compared to Cleveland where you have multiple injuries. But yeah, I love the point that AB brought up that Teddy Two Gloves has been very effective versus pressure. So, yeah, that's an important thing because Cleveland, as AB mentioned, gets after it. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's going to be coming after Bridgewater. But, yeah, Bridgewater has a very quick release. He gets rid of the ball quickly. He's a smart decision maker. He's hyper efficient. And, yeah, he looks at all these short and intermediate routes, and he completes them at a very high percentage. So I actually think this is a good matchup for him. I think he can be really productive tonight. Just kind of comes down to how healthy is he, what Teddy Bridgewater are we getting. He has played through injuries before. He has been relatively effective. So, yeah, I'm anticipating him being good, but obviously there is some inherent risk built in with the fact that he is nursing multiple injuries. He's playing against a very physical defense in a very tough environment, and one hit could then bring in the abomination that is Drew Lock playing quarterback. So you do not want to see that happen if you have any sort of, stock in Denver pass catchers of any way. That is just like, you better run for the hills if that happens. It has just gone completely south if Drew Lock is throwing footballs in this game. So cautiously.
We're going to hear you from the Pacific Northwest screaming if Drew Lock comes in the game tonight. Mikey, did you have something? Did you raise your hand over there?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to comment on both of the quarterbacks, frankly. So on Teddy Bridgewater's side, he has been good under pressure for the most part. He was not great last week, and that's what I'm really worried about. The Browns, we've talked about their makeshift offensive line. The Broncos have had a similar situation going on, and it's very clear that, in my opinion, Teddy's not completely healthy. He's obviously on the injury report twice with both of those injuries. He was hit 17 times in that game against the Oakland Raiders. Now playing a much better defense on the road in weather on a short week. The short week is the issue for me. It's Thursday night. Short weeks matter a lot at this point in the season, especially when you're dealing with injuries. That's why you see the injury reports loaded on both sides of the ball, or both teams, for a lot of games this week. I'm very worried about him completing this game. So I'd be very careful with his props. Wet field, dealing with 2 lower body injuries. They're going to put a lot of pressure on him. That's the way they like to play. So be careful there. And then on the other side, we talked about Keenum. There is obviously a little bit of a drop-off. There's a drop-off between any quarterback that's been starting and not. It's going to be around 1.5 points in the betting market in this case. So like someone like Mahomes, other quarterbacks, they're worth a full touchdown almost at this point. So what we like about Case Keenum is the fact that he has history with Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski was the quarterback's coach and then offensive coordinator when they played together in Minnesota. There is a reason they went out and got Case Keenum, who, by the way, has more career touchdowns in the NFL than Teddy Bridgewater, has the most career touchdowns in all of college football history. He is the leading touchdown passer in the entire NCAA. Here's the thing, though. Case Keenum, he is paid $18 million on this contract. I wanted to say, here's the deal, like AB does. Here's the deal. They paid him $18 million to come in there and be the backup quarterback. The drop-off from Baker is not that big.
It's very interesting, and here's why. Did you get that, AB? Did you like that? Quick question for you, Vincent. I'm coming back real quick to Mikey. FanDuel has a boost. Melvin Gordon, 1 touchdown, plus 230. Quickly, your thoughts.
I think it's fine. I typically don't play plays like this. I think he could find himself in the end zone, but it's not something that I personally would be playing.
Okay. All right. Very good. Keep hitting that like button. Right now we're at 300. We need to get to 200 more. My man, Owners, I see you in the chat. He said, and I just lost it. I completely lost it. I'm an idiot. I really am. He says, go to all your devices. Give this video a like. I need my chance to win this subscription. Everybody now knows the cat's out of the bag. SportsLine is where you want to be. So everybody wants to win their free membership. But you got to earn it now. We're not just giving them away anymore. You got to really, really earn it. So we're almost to 20 before the hour. This hour goes so fast. So now it's time to get into our official plays of the night. All right. We call this section, and here's why. From our guy, AB. So, AB, you're going to start us. What do you got tonight that you like officially for a play in this game on the early edge?
Yeah, so I've actually got 3 plays on it. First one, I've got the Broncos plus 3.5. It's just a solid number. Obviously, that number has dropped down. Second one, I'm on the over 41, and I believe that total now is sitting at 40, so it's even more value. But I think that this game is going to create more points than people do think. I agree with him squared. Case Keenum is a manageable backup. He can play, and I think that Kevin Stefanski is going to show a little bit tonight because he doesn't have the run game to back up on, and they can play very, very aggressive. And then the last one that I have, Von Miller over 3.5 tackles and assists at plus 140. And I'm going to tell you why. He gave a quote 2 days ago that he knew that he was going to be played against a backup right tackle, which he is. And here's the quote. I don't know who the tackle I'm going against is, but I'm going to kill him. End of quote. So there you go.
That is swag to the 10th degree. Big time. Thank you, AB. Catherine, I see you. She says, any chance for an M squared same game parlay? Are we on the air? Are we live right now? Then hell yes, there's a chance. He's working on it right now. You get it after the top of the hour at 8 p.m., 8:02, 8:03, something like that. But he always comes through with a fun one. Come on now. You know that, Catherine. Thanks for watching. Now, this is the start of a very, very busy week. This man has been so hot that we have to protect him in a bubble so that his house does not burn down. Alex, talk to me.
I got you, Coach. Yeah, so I've got 2 props. One is an official play. One is a lean. I will clarify which is which. I'm going to give out my official play first. It is Noah Fant over 41.5 receiving yards without Albert Okunbunam. the past 2 weeks. He's Denver's backup tight end. Fant's snap rate has quietly increased to 93%. He's running a route on a season-high 93% of Teddy Bridgewater's dropbacks. That is, I think, second of all tight ends in the NFL. He's coming off easily his best game of the season last week versus Oakland. He had a 9-catch, 97 one-touchdown performance versus the Raiders. Obviously, we know Jerry Jeudy is on the shelf. He was actually activated, but he's not playing. He confirmed is going to play next week versus Washington. But yeah, without Jeudy on the field, Fant is running all those high percentage routes in the middle of the field, close to the line of scrimmage. We mentioned Teddy has a penchant for throwing to those spots of the field. Fant has had at least 10 targets in 2 of the last 3 games. That is significant because Albert Okwuegbunam, I know I butchered that, is on injured reserve. So he is getting a ton of targets, a ton of snaps. He's running a ton of routes. I think Bridgewater is going to continue to adhere with his quick release and preference for a target that is close to the line of scrimmage, especially with the Browns' ferocious pass rush. I think this will greatly benefit Fant and sets him up to have a really nice game. I'm also going to say this prop is somewhat lock proof, because if Bridgewater misses the game, if he gets hurt and Locke comes into the game, he's actually shown some chemistry with Fant. They have somewhat of a rapport. He targets Fant heavily when he's in the game. So I actually do not hate it if somehow Bridgewater ends up getting injured. If Bridgewater doesn't get injured, I like Teddy's completions. This is a lean, though, strictly a lean. If you want to make that a quarter unit, half unit play, whatever, not an official play, but it's Teddy Bridgewater over 19.5 completions. Teddy is averaging 24 completions per game. That includes a game where he had only 7 completions. That was against the Ravens. He got concussed in that game, I believe, at the end of the first quarter. So, yeah, he has thrown a ton of completions this season. He is hyper efficient. He is very accurate throwing the football. This correlates to Fant, who I think is going to soak up a lot of those targets. I mentioned the Browns have an excellent pass rush. It's led by Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner Myles Garrett. I expect Denver to counter that ferocious pass rush with the running game, but also with Teddy getting rid of the ball quickly, benefiting guys like Noah Fant, who runs his routes close to the line of scrimmage. Teddy has always been extremely efficient, a very accurate passer. I think this number is way too low for him. The reason I'm not making it an official play, I just want to clarify that, is due to Cleveland also grinding a lot of clock offensively. They rank second in time of possession. They grind a ton of clock by playing keep away and keeping the opposing offense off the field. Plus, there is the injury risk with Bridgewater.
I tell you what, I'm going to be your agent, because we're going to add your voice. You know, Calm, you know, the app Calm, where they just talk. I could have you talk me to sleep with props literally all day. Oh my goodness. I just love it so much. So much. All right. Great plays there. Remember, when it's a lean, he tells you half a unit, quarter, take it down a little bit. You're still going to cash it, but just take it down just a little bit. Now, I got a very important text that I'm going to read here in a second. But first, I've got to go over to my man M Squared, because he has been razor sharp lately. He was on the Titans on Monday, the only one on the Titans, it seemed like. What do you got for us tonight there, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Browns. Doesn't seem popular with the chat. Everyone loves the Broncos today. I was told it was the easiest play of the entire season, almost like I was last week with the Buffalo Bills. But I am on the Cleveland Browns for all of the reasons that we have mentioned. I'll quickly hit them again, but basically the drop-off to Case Keenum is not worth the 4.5 points it's being made out to be in the betting market. It's worth 1.5 points. As one of the most capable backup quarterbacks in the league. And when a guy like Stefanski goes out and gets you on purpose, that is something we like to see. I actually think this Browns team, they weren't expecting this many injuries, but out of all the teams in the NFL, they're actually really well equipped to deal with an in-season injury like they're seeing right now. And I think that's why there's some value on them. Second one, I'm going to go ahead and give you my same game parlay. I actually have a flight to catch. I might have to leave 5 minutes early now, depending. But Denver Broncos plus 7.5. Cleveland Browns plus 3.5, over 30.5, under 50.5. And that comes back at plus 295 on DraftKings.
I love the donkey parlay. I love it. I absolutely love it. Hey, Mike, you duck out whenever. You're one of a very, very few guys on my crew that has carte blanche to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And then we will just deal with it. Now, question in the chat from Greg. Is it possible No, a different question. It's about the props. Basically, he's asking AB, are we going to be having props on SportsLine anytime soon?
It's coming. Absolutely. So how you see the site built out in terms of our experts' picks of spreads, totals, money lines, etc. Yes, props are being built. It takes a little bit of time. There's a lot of work that our tech team has to do, and we throw a ton at them. So have a little patience, but yes, absolutely, it's coming.
All right. Greg is also asking, can I find the SportsLine cappers records per sports easier? It's on the site. My man, we literally give you every pick that we make. Literally every pick that we make. We don't have time to do everything like that to go through it. But trust us, just follow us and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm always amazed at people like, I want every little thing. Like they're going to use everything to make their pick. You just don't. That's the way it's always been. We're changing the game. We're changing the game. We're going to make it fun. It's not so detail-oriented, but the most transparent show in sports betting, and it's not close. All right, let's keep pounding that like button. Let's get to 500 so I can give away 5-year-long memberships to SportsLine. Now, here is Alex's favorite part of the show. And before I get to that, I told you I had a very important text message. You know the maestro hates not being on the show. He hates it. So he sent in 2 official plays. So add to the list. So grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is 2 plays from the maestro. We're going to go David Njoku over 17.5 receiving yards. In some places, it's up to 18.5. I would still play that around minus 115. I got it at 18.5. He got it earlier today at 17.5. Then at some books, you can play this. Largest lead of the game. We're going to go under 14.5 at minus 130. What that means is you're playing for neither team to be up by over 15 points at all during this game. Those are your 2 plays from the maestro. All right, we are 15 minutes from the top of the hour. Here is where we tackle as many props as we possibly can before the top of the hour. So 15 minutes, start putting them into the chat, and we'll get to as many as we can. So we're going to start, guys. We already talked about Case Keenum. So, AB, let me come back to you. D. Johnson, over 59 yards rushing. Talk to me.
Yeah, the Broncos offense fascinates me in this one as well, okay? Because you look, they've converted only 23 of their 77 third down attempts at a 30% clip. It's the worst in the NFL. That's going to have to change. If the wind and the rain is going, that's going to have to change in terms of the pass. I kind of like this. And even though I'm on the over and I think that there will be more passing than we think, I kind of dig this bet here just because of all that. They're going to have to run the ball. And if you've got the Browns defense coming after the quarterback on the outsides, trying to take advantage of those injured tackles right up the middle, there you go.
All right, speaking of right up the middle, Alex, let me come to you. We've got a Melvin Gordon question. Over 57 yards combined, rushing and receiving. And we already talked about the FanDuel touchdown boost for Melvin Gordon tonight as well. Your thoughts on Gordon?
Yeah, I like Gordon. I don't love Gordon. I do think he will receive a decent amount of volume. I'm personally much higher on Javonte Williams. He's been the more explosive option in the backfield. He's just frankly been the better player at this stage of the season. He is starting to get a little bit more work, it seems, every week compared to Gordon. This could be a week that we see the gap between them potentially spread a little further apart. It is a short week, though, so I also can see a scenario where Gordon does receive 12 to 14 touches. It basically just comes down to whether or not you think the volume is going to be there. I personally am a little bit higher on Javonte Williams, so I do not love Melvin Gordon tonight.
Okay. We also like fun props because I like to tell my guys and ladies that it can't all just be pick, serious. With that being said, Mikey, let me come to you. Either team to score 3 consecutive times is at plus 150. It's kind of an interesting question here.
I don't see it happening, especially with the prop that Larry just gave. I don't think you can really get there other than they kick 3 consecutive field goals. I think that could work, but I personally would not have 3 consecutive scores for either team. I'm not even sure each team will score 3 times.
That is actually very true. I know you're not kidding. I know you're not. Yeah. Alex, let me come back to you. You talked about Williams, 48.5 rush yards for him. And I have it at 48.5. Minus 129 is what it's at.
I think that's a solid play. I like the over there. I've been extremely impressed with Williams this season. He's a very explosive runner out of the backfield. I like the play. It is somewhat contingent on the game being competitive. I obviously anticipate this game being competitive. I think there's a great chance that he ends up with 12 to 15 carries tonight. So, I think that's a solid play.
All right, very good. Steve, I see you. Chad, Big Daddy, John, Carlos, all you guys and ladies, we love having you on the show tonight. Thank you so very much. All right, let me come back to you there, AB. Tim Patrick has been a very, very popular name the last couple of weeks as far as props are concerned. His receiving prop tonight, I believe, is 45. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that one's tough. I don't feel great about it at all. Because what are you going to get? Yak out of this? Or are you going to play a volume game? I kind of don't like either in this scenario. But again, I always go back to this. We talk about weather and we talk about wind, rain, etc., and how it's going to affect offenses. It affects defenses too, right? Like it absolutely does. So you're going to see, routes that are 3 to 5 yards go 9, 11, 14, not all night, but you'll see a couple of them. Like it goes both ways here. So I think if anything, I would go with the yardage over the volume, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Alex.
Yeah, I actually prefer Patrick's under as far as his yards are concerned. So I think this is a tough matchup for him specifically. The Browns play the boundaries well. They cover opposing wide receivers very effectively, coupled with the fact they have that pass rush that we have been talking about all night, led by Myles Garrett. They get after the quarterback extremely well. Patrick runs a lot of his routes deep down the field, so it will require time for Bridgewater to target him down the field. I don't think that's going to be the case with the Browns defense forcing the ball out of Teddy's hands quickly. So, I actually prefer Patrick's under to his over as far as yards are concerned.
For all of you watching at home, here's what you should do when Alex tells you to make a play. Stop, get your phone out, hit under, and bet as much as it will let you bet. Boom. Real-time bet right there. All right. That's how good my man Alex truly is. All right. Mikey, I'm going to come back to you. Another fun question. No touchdown in the first quarter, plus 150.
Plus 150 for no touchdown. I don't mind that one at all. I think that one is definitely got some legs out of any of the games that are out there. I do think it has some legs. I think the only issue you run into is the field goal kicking situation could be very sketchy in this game. With the weather conditions. But at plus money, the way these are going to play, I think that they're both going to be interested in running the clock, playing conservative relatively early in this game, especially I know Case Keenum is going to throw the football, but I do think the Browns are going to obviously try to limit the mistakes that they can here. They want to slow this game down. They know that it's going to be an ugly football game, and they're okay with that. I do like the no touchdown in the first quarter if it's plus 150 or more.
Okay. A lot of people, Alex, in the chat are asking about OBJ props. I don't have any up, and I'm assuming other places don't either. Explain to the people at home that don't understand when a guy is hurt and they don't quite understand from a props perspective, why do they take him down?
Yeah, we just could be just a case of not understanding or not having a clear projection on his involvement, how many snaps he's going to be playing, his role in the offense. Obviously, you mentioned Jarvis Landry being back for Cleveland. We also have a backup quarterback situation. So, there's just a lot of unknown things here. So it's difficult to even, produce a line for someone when there are so many variables involved that we just can't account for.
Very good. Thank you for that analysis. AB. Every time we do a primetime show, everybody wants to play the quarterback props. They love the attempts. They love the completions. They love the touchdowns. They love it all. Tonight, very dicey. So, Teddy Bridgewater, 227.5. Case Keenum, 218.5. Talk to me.
I actually kind of like Case Keenum over Teddy Bridgewater. Scares me here because as M Squared and Prop Stars spoke about earlier in the show, all it takes is one hit and he's out. And he could be having a great game and then gone. right? So I think that there's so much risk there that I would just stay away from Teddy. But 218.5 is not a bad number. And here kind of is why. I'm going to give you a little hedge on that one. Because honestly, Kevin Stefanski is going to be in his bag tonight because he knows that he cannot depend on the run game. He coming into it, the Broncos already have one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. And now you're going at it without your two best guys. So he's going to have to call an offense. And to be completely honest with you, I think that this is a game to where when you went and hired Kevin Stefanski, this is why, and he knows it, because he's going to have to make Case Keenum better than he is, completely honestly, right? So, yeah, I kind of dig Case Keenum's number. I realize who he is and where we're at with this game, but that's a pretty low number. If you think the Browns are going to win this game, he's going to have to hit that.
Okay, very good. Let's continue to pound that like button. We got to get to 500. I'll give away 5 year-long memberships, 5 more minutes till the top of the hour. So let's pound that like button. Mikey, quick question from the chat. I'm trying to find it from Quinn. Can you bring it up? There you go. Mikey had locked in Denver plus 145 in the money line early. Cash out now or see if the Broncos grab the first score.
Well, if you like Denver, nothing's really changed. So if you like Denver, I think that you should play Denver. Just because I like it and have value on it doesn't mean that you have to play it, frankly. So if you like Denver and had the reasons to do it, then I would probably leave it there. And then if the Broncos grab the first score, then if you're not feeling great about your position still and you think that I'm right, then you'd be playing the Browns at plus money at that point. But as of right now, you like the Broncos with whatever research you had early, and you're looking to see if the Broncos grab the first score. So, yeah, I think that you would wait and see if you can grab the Browns at plus money, and you look at a little arbitrage situation if you're just dead set on trying to get out of it to be on the same side that I'm on.
Okay. I would encourage you to follow Mikey on social media. And the reason I say that is that live betting has become so incredibly popular, but it can be very dangerous too if you don't know what you are doing. And Mikey does an incredible job of explaining it to you, telling you on Twitter what he would play. And also if you ask him a question, he will answer that as well. Alex, let me come back to you. Back to the quarterbacks. With Case Keenum getting his first start, he hasn't played a lot. We know he's a high-paid backup, as Mikey already said. But the interception prop, we love playing these. AB has me hooked on these. And it's 0.5 for Case Keenum. Would you play that? Do you think he'll throw an interception tonight?
I don't typically play those props. I do know I've seen Case Keenum throw quite a few interceptions, though. Yeah, he has a penchant for getting 1 or 2 just like really bad balls out per game. I remember in the tail end of that run on Minnesota, even though he was playing really well, there was just like a moment in every game where you just had to close your eyes if you were backing Keenum or the Vikings, because he would just make like 1 or 2 just horrendous throws that could easily be picked off. There are a lot of playmakers in Denver's secondary. I think Justin Simmons is one of the most underrated football players. In the NFL, he's just a tremendous safety. I would not be surprised whatsoever if he picks off Case Keenum tonight.
All right, and that number, if you want to play it over a half of an interception, is minus 128. Once again, my man Chad in the comments section wins the comment of the night. Chad says AB went from Chick-fil-A manager working on an off day to a Bass Pro fishing department manager. AB stands for @BassPro.
Not bad. Now, I like earlier, somebody asked what motorcycle gang I'm in. So, right, I've got a lot of things going on here. We're busy, all right?
Graham, I see your question. What book is that where they are showing the screen on? Our partners, incredible Caesars Sportsbook, my man. That is where we get all of our lines from, Caesars Sportsbook. And then I will look at a couple others because some books have things that we want to play, others do not. So we'll look at FanDuel and DraftKings, but our partners is our Caesars Sportsbook, and we are lucky to have them. You're right, Scott. It's almost time for the Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game. We're still a couple of minutes away, so we've got a couple more to get to. Williams over 51.5, I believe, rushing yards was another question in the chat. Anybody want to take that one? Anybody like that one?
Javonte Williams, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd lean over on it. I think we talked about it a few moments ago at 48.5. I obviously prefer it there.
There you go.
If you can get it there at 51.5,
It's still 48. It's still 48. It went back down.
Okay, yeah, I like it at 48 as a play. I'm not making it an official play, but I do like the prop. Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. So many good questions tonight in the comment section. Let's continue to pound that like button. Oh, and it is officially the top of the hour. You kind of feel it coming. You can feel that we are exactly 20 minutes away from kickoff between the Broncos and the Browns. A whole new audience coming in right now. Welcome into Early Edge Live. I am the coach, M Squared, Alex, Prop Stars, and my man AB and the jeweler running the ones and the twos tonight as we get you set for everything, sides, totals, props, all of that. But you know what time it is right now. A few weeks ago, for those of you who are brand new, and I tell you, we're growing our audience so fast, there's always new people. We just threw out on a whim to my man M Square, lower left-hand corner. Said, hey, give me a first touchdown of the game. Van Jefferson, plus 4,000. It was a throwaway. Boom, we banged it the very first night. The very next night, Tyson Williams, my man Sia, plus 1,200. Boom, we banged it there too. So now it's a staple for every single primetime show, and it's got to be at least plus 1,000 or higher. This is a fun play. A fun play. M Squared, since you're tight on time, I'm going to come to you first. What do you got?
All right, so like the Maestro, I'm pretty big on the tight ends for the Cleveland Browns. Just I think that's where they're going to have to go when they look to throw the football a little bit here. I know both the receivers being active change things a little bit on some of their yardage, but I like Austin Hooper, 20-1. Plus 2,000 here. I think this is a great number on Austin Hooper. I think that Keenum's going to look for someone like him if they get the ball into the red zone. I think the Browns have the better defense. I think you're incentivized to take the Browns players on the first touchdown, in my opinion. So that's where I'm headed with it. Austin Hooper plus 2,000.
I am playing that right now. Boom! I got it in. All right, Alex, talk to me. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to try to kill two birds with one stone, and I'm going to go Noah Fant plus 1,100. Obviously, I'm on his receiving prop. I love me some Noah Fant. He is healthy for the first time in possibly his career. He's got 3 touchdowns this season. He's shown great chemistry with Teddy Bridgewater. 2 of the past 3 weeks, he has at least 10 targets. The backup tight end, whose name I won't butcher any further on the Broncos, is on injured reserve, so he is soaking up a tremendous amount of snaps. He's running a ton of pass routes. Yeah, I love Noah Fant plus 1,100 to score the first touchdown.
I got to be honest with you. I kind of enjoyed you trying to pronounce those names tonight. It was fun for us. It was fun for us.
I'll give it one more shot.
Okay. AB, talk to me.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you what. Earlier today, I was making out the schedule for Bass Pro Shops for this week, right? And I was putting it on the board. And I got a stat for you that I came across over there in some paperwork we had over there in the manager's office. The Broncos last week scored a touchdown on their opening drive against the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay? Awesome. Fantastic. That was the first time they've done that in 24 games. 24. Wow. You got to go Browns here, right? I'm going Donovan Peoples-Jones plus 1,300. It's not as spicy as, a plus 3,000, anything like that. But you look at this Browns offense, take away Baker Mayfield, take away Nick Chubb, take away Kareem Hunt. That's 70% of their touchdowns this season, all right? You're looking at a fullback or Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm going to go with my man. I think he got it.
Now, the Browns, just to give you some perspective, everybody at home, first 5 weeks of the season, they averaged 154 yards a game on the ground. Last week, 73. Now they're 2 top backs who are dynamic. When they're healthy, they're the best running backs tandem in the game. They're not playing tonight. Now, we've got some people in the chat helping us out with the wind. Mikey, let me come back to you because there's been so much made about the weather tonight and the wind tonight and the rain tonight. But apparently, if our fans are to be believed, it's not that big of a deal. Since we are 16 minutes away from kick, do you see that still factoring in at all tonight?
Yeah, no, the wind matters. So it depends on what numbers you're reading. Anything like it starts to matter on longer passes around 18 miles per hour is like where it really like starts to matter. When you're sustained 25 with gusts of 35, it definitely impacts the deep ball of throws even 15 plus yards down the field. So that does matter for some of those deep shots. I believe Alex mentioned it earlier with Tim Patrick. Patrick's the guy that it's going to impact the most in this game. Some of it's a product of the wind. Some of it is just the combination of the wind and the pass rush, the way the Cleveland Browns like to play. But it's certainly where it's going to impact is long field goals. Like anything over 30 yards is going to be definitely in question if we're seeing gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour.
Did you say field goals, Mikey? Did you say field goals, Mikey? I got to come right back to AB. Any thoughts on your kicker props tonight?
Well, I'll tell you this. The Cleveland Browns do not kick field goals. They are aggressive as hell on fourth down. They have been all season. And I think that now, tonight, if they see any opening whatsoever, once they get on the opposite side of the 50, yeah, they're going to go for it. That's a low number, 1.5. That's a low number. I would usually love to smash that over. But Cleveland just doesn't kick a lot of field goals, man. Like they go for it. So I'll stay away. I'll make sure that these kickers have a job tomorrow. But yeah, I'm in fade mode on kickers tonight.
You know, let's be honest. You are the kiss of death when it comes to a kicker prop.
Death.
Death.
Me choosing a kicker is like when I have to let someone go at Bass Pro Shop. They've had a tough week there. Yeah.
Zark in the chat. Quick question for Alex. Demetric Felton over 15.5 receiving yards. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a little bit high variance or subject to volatility. I'd lean over on it though.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't give you more insight.
That's okay. That's good enough for me. Let me come back to you, AB, because the Maestro gave out Noku over 17.5 receiving yards. Is it 18.5 some places? His reception prop is only 2. Only 2. Your thoughts on that? I'm leaning over, but you guys are the experts.
Well, I'll tell you this: you're going to get at an even number, so you're getting kind of a win there. And then, yeah, like I like the yardage, and I like that number as well in terms of receptions, because if you've got a quarterback that's looking for a safety valve, there's nobody better than a big body, and if he's running 3 to 4 to 5 yard routes, honestly, man, I kind of like both here. Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just going to leave that. Just think about what you just said. I'm going to leave that alone. We got a lot of new people into the chat, and they want to know about the parlay that is really starting to grow on people every week. At first, they were complaining this is too hard. Now it's fun. So, Mikey, if you could one more time, and we'll have the jeweler put it up on the screen so people can write it down and have time to get it in. Give us your donkey parlay of the night, please, one more time.
Yeah, I've cut it down. I typically will have 6 to 8 legs on it, but we're only going 4 legs tonight because of the player prop situation with the receivers. Denver Broncos plus 7.5, Cleveland Browns plus 3.5, over 30.5 total points, and then under 50.5 total points. So we're basically just taking the middle. I do think it's going to be relatively efficient in the fact that I don't think that either team's going to run away with this football game. I like the Browns plus 3.5 on their home field. I like the Broncos here getting that hook on the 7. And then the total here, 30.5 is 30 points might be tough for these two teams to get to, but I do think they'll ultimately land over this at 31 at least. So This is where I like. And then under 50.5, I do think it stays under that.
All right, so see that parlay at the bottom left hand of your screen. That's the parlay you put together. There's a bunch of alternate lines, and most books have these now because it's a great, fun way to be able to play. While we have the screen up, Alex, give us your official plays because people always ask us. We listen to you. You said you want the official plays again at the top of the hour. We'll do it. Alex, what do you got tonight?
Yeah, so I've got one official play, one lean. The official play is Noah Fant over 41.5 receiving yards. Fant's snap rate has increased to 93%. He's run a route on a season high. 93% of Teddy Bridgewater's drop backs He's coming off his best game of the season, went 9 for 97 and 1 touchdown. No Jerry Jeudy tonight, so Fant is running a lot of the high percentage routes in the middle of the field. He's had at least 10 targets in 2 of the last 3 games. Denver's backup tight end Albert Okwuegbunam is on injured reserve, so he is soaking up a ton of snaps. I just think Bridgewater is going to continue to adhere with his quick release and preference for a target close to the line of scrimmage, especially with the Browns pass rush likely in his face. I think that's going to benefit Fant, sets him up to have a really nice game. The other prop that I have is a lean is Teddy Bridgewater's completions over 19.5. He is just, if he finishes his game, he's going to have more than 20 completions. There is a lot of risk. This is why it's a lean. Cleveland also grinds a lot of clock. They hold the ball a lot. They're second in the league in time of possession. There is a lot of risk, which is why this play is a lean. But yeah, if you want to sprinkle a little bit on it, if Bridgewater lasts the game, he's going to have at least 20 completions.
Oh, you gave me that secret word, that special word I like so much. Just a little sprinkle. Just a little sprinkle. AB, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Broncos plus 3.5. We got that earlier. Obviously, the number has moved. Broncos-Browns over 41. The total sits at 40. I still love it at 41. I know that I'm going contrarian here, but there are going to be points tonight. They might be defensive. They might be crazy points, but they're going to happen, and I don't really care who scores them or what. Let's just get to that over. And then also Von Miller over 3.5 tackles plus assists at plus 140. It's a good value play because, again, I go back to his quote of what he said 2 days ago. Quote, I don't know who the tackle I'm going against is, but I'm going to kill him. So, all right, I don't have to share that same attitude with Von Miller. He's the man for that, but I'm going to ride with him tonight.
All right, hang tight there, AB. I got something I got to come back to based off of points, but I got to go back to Alex because based off what AB said earlier, and then, Mike, you can chime in here, and if Teddy Bridgewater is one move away or one hit away, his prop is still at 257.5. Your thoughts on the over or under there, and I'll give you the juice here in a second.
Yeah, 257 for yards. That is yards and rushing combined, or just passing yards?
That is his passing.
That's got to be an alt number. It should be.
Yeah, I think it's 237.
It should be in the 220s.
Sorry, 227.5. My apologies.
Okay,
227.5.
Yeah. So 227.5. There's just so much risk with him potentially, being banged up, having 2 injuries. I do think that if he finishes the game, he's got a great shot. Denver has some viable pass catching options. Obviously, mentioned Fant. We haven't mentioned Cortland Sutton tonight, but he's an excellent receiver. I think he is either first or second in the NFL in air yards. Tim Patrick is also solid, and both backs can catch passes, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. So, yeah, there's an inherent risk in any Bridgewater plays. I prefer the completions because I can see him dinking and dunking to get rid of the ball quickly, protect himself, and also the game plan for Denver to protect him by having him take advantage of his quick release. He has an ultra quick release, and just get the ball out very quickly. That doesn't usually equate to a ton of yards, but it could equate to a lot of completions, which is why I like his completions over his yards and over any of his other props.
Great analysis by you, as always. As I was listening to that, Candy in the chat says, AB, can we get a family and friends discount if we ask for you? Now, let me come back to you because you seem bullish on the fact that you think this game is going to go over the total. So if that's the case, then I want to ask you about the ever-popular team total. 19.5 for the Broncos, 20.5 for the Browns. Talk to me.
I like both of them, to be completely honest with you. I mean, we're going to need both to hit this over, but you look at the Broncos, the last 3 games, they're giving up 28 points per game in all 3 of them. But I also think that you're going to have a Denver Broncos team who legitimately has to win a game. And these are professionals. I don't care how good, how bad a team might be week to week. Look, when a team has to win a game, they have to win the game. So I like both, to be completely honest with you. I'm all in on both.
Okay, Mikey, your thoughts on that?
I would say that, it's a must-win game for both teams. The season kind of rides on this game for both of them. It really can, especially with the injury on the one side, but it really can dictate where the team goes for the rest of the season. I will say, this comment applies to the Bridgewater passing as well. Sometimes in these games, especially when you have these backup quarterbacks, they're full of injuries, they can lead to short fields. These are two relatively good defenses, pretty good defenses on both sides. Don't be surprised at all if either one of them or both of them create turnovers and short fields for the offenses. Both of them are still going to try to run the football. When you have short fields like that, it takes away opportunities for passing yards quite a bit. So just be careful with both of the quarterbacks' overs on the passing yards. While I think that the total can still get there through some of the short fields, there's still talented running backs on the field on both sides.
AB, were you just touching your hat, or did you have something to say?
No, just adjusting my hat.
Okay, very good. We had a very, very important question from Tanner in the chat for Mikey. Does M Squared ever laugh?
We do. We do. These are this is the busiest day of the year for me so far. Literally the busiest day. Fortunately, the flight is delayed. So as long as we don't get delayed until the next day, we're good. But flight is delayed. So we got enough time that way.
I'm telling you right now, for everybody watching, that one of these days we're going to do a reality show and we're going to follow all my guys around to see how they get their jobs done, because it's amazing. And the lab in the Pacific Northwest for Alex is next level. All right, we're getting down to it. We like to finish every single show with my guys giving 30 seconds on what they're most looking forward to in tonight's game. Mikey, I'm coming back to you to start it. What do you got?
I'm most looking forward to the interaction on social media, depending on which way the game goes, because I've obviously been very outspoken on liking the Browns and talking about Case Keenum. So I'm looking forward to taking some comments in if it does not go my way. And I'm looking forward to a nice tweet and making some money if the Browns do win. So I'm interested to see what Case Keenum looks like. Like I said, they got him for a reason. He likes playing with Stefanski. They're playing at home against a team that I think is average at best on a short week that's also dealing with injuries. So that's where I'm at.
By the way, I think you're going to an F1 race, right? Are we going to get a pick from you on Sunday's show?
We will. I will. I'll have that all locked in between now and the time I head the airport. So all my plays for the week will be locked in now, because I will not be able to actually bet in Austin unless I fire back up some other accounts, but that's not going to happen. So
very good. Alex, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I've been high on the Cleveland Browns all year. I was on their win total coming into the season. So was Maestro. Shout out Maestro. I'm interested. I put it out there that I believe the Browns had the deepest roster in the NFL from top to bottom. We're going to find out tonight just how deep that roster is. They're obviously dealing with a litany of injuries all over the place on both sides of the ball. Everywhere. So, I'm hoping to see the Browns respond well. I think they will, because I think they have a lot of talent despite all the injuries.
Mikey, Noah says in the chat that he'll place the bets for you if you need him to.
Yep.
If you need him to. AB, my man D Kenyon says AB needs a crane to adjust that hat because the bill is so damn big.
Well, my question is this: which bill?
Oh, snap! All right, bring it home for us, pal.
I'll tell you this. So I'm interested to see if Case Keenum does play well tonight. What does this do for the Browns in terms of Baker Mayfield and his injury? Do they look to surgery if he plays well quickly, or if he plays horrifically, do they say, look, buddy, you got to go. You got to go. Also, one quick note, the Dallas Cowboys, all 6 games they've played, they haven't played a quarterback between the age of 25 to 43. Weird.
Where do you find this stuff, man?
Just a weird stat.
Find this stuff. It really is. Speaking of the Cowboys, here are the 6 teams on the bye this week: Bills, Cowboys, Jags, Vikings, Steelers, and the Chargers. If you're looking for plays on them, keep looking, because they do not exist. All right, the game is getting ready to start. That means we end. Thank you all so very much. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm more than a little disappointed that we didn't get the 500 likes, and I'm not going to give it away for 490, 495. Not going to do it. Next time, all you got to do, everybody who watches, is hit the like button. Bring the chat right back up. But tonight we have absolutely no winners, and that's just the way it goes. All right. So grab your paper, grab your pencil. We already showed the recap. We only have one thing left to do. Take a look at it. Screenshot it. You got 2 minutes to get these plays in if you haven't already. And then I've got to close the show is the only way that we know how. Bring me back up, jeweler. Bring me back up. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Thursday night football tickets straight to the pay window. For M Squared, Prop Stars, AB, the jeweler, our entire crew at SportsLine and the Early Edge. I am the coach. Tell your friends there's only one show you need to be watching, one brand that you need to be watching. We like to call it the Early Edge. Good luck.